What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Akulon here, and of course, welcome back to each and every one of you to Mythic Banter with Rurikon and myself, Akulon. How you guys doing? Rurikon, how you doing, bro?
I am incredibly stressed, but I am ready for this podcast. You know why I'm stressed, Akulon?
Why?
I've been setting up to go to Gamescom.
Uh-huh.
I've been setting everything up, setting up my hotel, setting up my planes and the flights and all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And right as I need to make an important payment for the hotel, because hotels right now in Cologne are listen, hotels right now in Cologne on average today on the 12th of July, the average price is between 500 euro and 1,000 euro.
Holy shit. Wait, a night?
Per night.
Holy crap. They just go homeless. Just take a tank.
Bro.
Just take a tank.
Telling you, the guys at the hotel industry in Cologne are eating good right now. They're like, all these foreigners coming in for Gamescom? We're going to milk you dry. Just you wait, baby. I was able to score a much cheaper pension type thing. So mean, much cheaper is still like nearly 300 euros a night, but it's friggin'
man. This is why I don't.
Insanity.
This is why I don't do conventions at all. I don't have I don't. No, why? I want to go to a place and stand amongst a bunch of sweaty fucks and look at video games when I could literally just be playing the video games myself. Nah, thank you, bro.
You can't play those video games. You can't play Monster Hunter Wilds right now, brother. It's not happening.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll play it when it comes out.
No, you won't. You never even played Monster Hunter World.
True.
You're terrible, man.
And now
now you're abandoning Elden Ring in favor of this flavor of the month thing.
Bro, I'm not abandoning Elden Ring.
I was so disappointed when I go to your stream and I'm like, oh man, maybe he's getting his ass cheeks blasted by another Crucible Knight. And then I get in there and it's like, what is this? I don't want to watch this.
No, I need a bit of a break from Godfrey. No, I'm lying.
I thought you needed a break from that Crucible Knight.
No, bro, the one I actually needed, because I got Godfrey down on the first day to less than 10% HP.
Of course.
And then he just keeps killing me. But then people in chat started telling me, bro, you're the right level for Godfrey, but you've missed so many upgrades and so many power things that you actually need for Godfrey. So I had to go back to Limgrave, and just basically start exploring. And then I get to the shack, and chat's like, bro, wait till nighttime. And then go into the shack.
Oh, they did you so dirty.
I do this. Yeah, I do this. I wait till nighttime. I go into the shack. And here comes a guy that, if you're far away from him, his blade turns ethereal and he still fucking wrecks you. It doesn't even matter. Yeah. There's nothing
you can do.
He gives
you the drill special.
Yeah, that guy hits hard. Just FYI. So I got blasted by that guy. Tried him a couple of times. I was like, well, fuck that guy. I'm not going back there. I killed one of the tree dudes, the big tree fuckers that stand by the earth trees or something to that effect. Yeah, I killed one of those. That was pretty easy. I've been enjoying it, super enjoying it. But yeah, we'll get into the once human discussion, because yes, I have been sort of no-lifing once human now for a few days. But before I do that, I'm looking at everyone at home. You're watching this video right now. I want you to do something for me. I want you to go below the video and hit the subscribe button. We're 8 subscribers away from 100 subs. And to me, that's insane, considering the fact that we've only done 3 episodes. This will be the 4th. And there's consistently more than 200 of you motherfuckers watching. Why aren't you subbed? Why aren't you subbed? So please, hit the sub button. Help us get to 100 and then beyond. Anyways, that's all I need from you. Okay, Rurikon. You need to put on your serious face now. We're going to do... This is serious, what we're talking about now. Okay.
Yes.
Boogie 2988 is in the news.
Oh, okay.
Again.
It actually is serious. I thought you
no,
were memeing, but it actually is serious. Okay.
No, I'm just
because I was about to like put some clown makeup. I was like, hey, Echelon wants me to be serious. I'm gonna completely do the exact opposite. But then you brought up, okay, yeah.
No.
This is serious.
I have to keep you on your toes. This is an actual serious thing. Boogie 298 is in the news again. Now, dude, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going. I said in live stream, I'm pretty convinced this guy is just fucking stupid. He's too stupid to actually be doing the gaslighting that he's doing, because he lies, right? Then he gets caught in the lie, and then like a 5-year-old, he just doubles the fuck down. Like, he just goes, no, this is exactly what happened. And people's like, but no, it can't. Like, nothing you make sense. So, to those people at home that don't know what me and Rurikon is going to be talking about right now, Rurikon has been faking having cancer for the last 2 years.
Me?
Not Rurikon,
what?
sorry. Boogie 298. Well, Rurikon could too, but he's not doing it right now. He doesn't need the money.
I don't think I have it. I have all of my medical stuff in order as far as I'm aware. So
my apologies, bro. Luckily, Rurikon did get a room in Germany. Otherwise, he may have actually had to go down the crypto selling route.
Oh my god, no! But like on a more serious note, right?
Yeah.
So Boogie is what I feel like is one of the strangest phenomenons of YouTube, because I think most people know who he is, but he's achieved that essentially what is colloquially referred to as a lol cow status, which basically means that anyone making videos about him makes more views than he himself, because nobody cares about what he has to say. People mostly care about what everybody else has to say about him, which is an interesting thing, considering that the dude has over 4 million subs.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it's like, for people that might not even remember who he is, this is the guy that made the skits with the Francis character, where especially one of the most memorable ones I feel like is the Diablo 3 one, where he's just like completely messing about and going like, error 37, just like, throwing his keyboard around, doing all of this usual stuff.
Yeah, he got famous with the Francis character, right? That's really the thing that blew him up, was the Francis character.
The interesting thing is, I used to watch him like a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and I never really cared for the Francis character. I was like, I thought that the one skit that he did about Diablo, and every now and I think there might have been a couple more about World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
like, okay,
funny.
these are funny.
Yeah,
these are funny because I like the product that he's riffing off of. So like, I like Diablo, I like World of Warcraft. Yeah. These are interesting things to me. But most of the other ones, I didn't care. Like the whole things about the what's the name of it? The Mountain Dew nonsense, breaking lightsabers. Yeah. I'm like, I don't care about this. Is ridiculous to me. But whatever.
No,
he even used to do the console breaking thing where he'd take a console out.
But I mean,
I never liked that.
He did overplay the Francis character towards the end, but that sort of, almost every YouTuber does this. You play into the joke, and then the joke is really funny. But I think the problem, of course, is that most YouTubers are not trained in anything. So a joke is sort of funny for a while. If you keep playing the joke, eventually the joke loses its luster, and then it's like, who gives a shit, right? He made...
No, there's one joke that never loses its luster. It's, you dirty rat, you killed my brother, you dirty rat. Okay, everybody in my audience knows that never loses its luster. All right,
I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what it is. But all right, cool.
Just a little side thing. Like the thing that I like most watching of his was actually when he would just talk about video games, like out of character. Yeah. I thought he was more entertaining out of character than when he was in his Francis mode. When he was just like talking about stuff that he was passionate about, for a while, I would like watch all of this stuff, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. He has this take about this, he has this take about that. I think that was around the time where he won Creator of the Year, because he won a Creator of the Year game award as well.
Yeah, he was huge, bro.
So he was massive. And then, he started going down this friggin' death spiral. And it's a really weird thing, because I was like, bro, look at how lucky he is. He was actually able to get himself a wife who loves him, because he was married for a while.
Yeah.
And so he had all of these amazing opportunities in life, and he just threw it all away, everything away. And then again, he gets another opportunity to be on the Lolcow Live podcast with Keemstar, which is a show that I've actually watched quite a few times. And then he messes it up because he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go do a meme coin for $5,000."
Yep.
So he basically tanked his entire reputation over a friggin' meme.
Well,
his reputation, which by the way wasn't that great to begin with at this point.
I just want to throw something out there, because before all the controversy started, the thing that basically started Boogie's downfall was the same thing that so many content creators run into. It is easy, and you'll know this, Rukon. If you're just making a video, it's very easy to pretend to be someone, right? Anyone.
Yeah.
The problem is that once you get into like the live stream element of things, unless you have something like a Dr. Disrespect character that you're playing, right? Something similar to that. And we're not talking about the Dr. Disrespect stuff, but you know what I mean, right? That's a character that was literally designed to be played throughout the whole of the stream. So you're literally acting the whole of the stream. But if the character that you're pretending to be in YouTube videos is not the person you are in real life, that comes across so fast in a live stream.
Oh, yeah.
In live streams, things happen. Chat's going to give you shit. Chat's not always going to agree with you. Game moments are going to occur. And if you're a piece of shit, actually IRL, that is going to start coming through.
Out.
Yeah. And that's where Boogie's real problem started, was in the live streams. Like when he started to do live streams, people started to realize that, hold on, this nice guy on YouTube, you know, the guy that doesn't ever pick sides, and he doesn't hate people on the left, he doesn't hate people on the right, he doesn't hate people for their opinions. This guy, this caricature that he created, started to crumble, and people were like, wait, what the fuck's going on? You know, and then he had controversy after controversy after controversy. He went on the H3H3 podcast. He said a whole bunch of random shit about sleeping with prostitutes and porn stars, and
Jesus
again,
Christ.
you know, like the dude just went off the rails. And I think it was around that time that people realized the person that they were following, the nice guy, because I'm with you. I loved watching his normal gaming content.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that even now, with everything that Boogie has done, if he just stops and goes back to making normal content, you know, just produce his videos, make his videos. Because I looked at his channel. Dude, I looked at his channel. His videos still
I don't think that after
Yeah?
this most recent controversy, I don't think there's a way back.
Dude, you'd be surprised how many people don't give a fuck, right? You'd be surprised. Now, Boogie is going to do the same thing that he's always done. He's going to apologize, right? And then he's going to basically just do it again, because that's what he's been doing up until now. Now, we should probably just fill in everyone that doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So Boogie sells this meme coin. Now, if there is one way on the internet to basically get CoffeeZilla to start paying the fuck attention, it is cryptocurrencies.
It's like if I have my channel is not huge on the levels that we're talking about here, right?
Yeah.
But I guarantee if I was to get involved in a shit coin, CoffeeZilla will be like, this motherfucker right here, this Portuguese piece of trash is scamming everybody.
Yep.
CoffeeZilla would be right there.
Instantly.
My phone would be ringing. I was like, Coffee, how did you get my number, bro? Like, I'm in Portugal. What is going on?
Yep. Like, CoffeeZilla immediately paid attention to this. He was like, whoa, what's going on? So he came out.
It was actually worse.
Yeah.
It was worse than CoffeeZilla paying attention to it. Boogie called CoffeeZilla.
Wait, he reached out to CoffeeZilla first?
Yes, but that was because Boogie wanted plausible deniability. Boogie wanted to be able to say, oh, but I spoke with CoffeeZilla. He said it'd be okay. But the thing was, the second Boogie messaged CoffeeZilla like instantly replied to him like, don't do what I think you're about to do. instantly. Just don't do what I think you're about to do. And then eventually they get on a call because CoffeeZilla is also a busy guy, right? Eventually they get on a call and CoffeeZilla starts questioning him about it. He's like, well, it's already done. And he's like, what the fuck did you do? You idiot.
Man, I didn't even know that bit. I must have missed it, but
Yeah, dude,
I mean,
insane.
the thing is, right? So Boogie is like a child, and the whole crypto scam, right? He tried to play it off as, oh, it's just everyone knew it was a joke, everyone knew it was a scam from the beginning.
Of course.
Even though he did not make that clear, he didn't in his tweets in him pushing this coin, he didn't ever make it clear that this is just a shit coin and he has no interest in this coin going anywhere. So just to be very fucking clear about that. Then, when that doesn't work, because clearly people are going, bro, you just tweeted out that people should buy this new coin and it's an amazing coin. You didn't actually say that this is just a shit meme coin. You didn't make it clear that you are just going to scam people and make some money off of this shit, right? Then Boogie turns around and he drops a massive bombshell. It's for cancer. That's why he needed to do this. This wasn't
a bombshell. He already told people he had cancer. He's been telling people he has cancer for months.
But remember, he needs new biopsies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So he desperately needs the money for his cancer because the cancer is serious, right? And that's why he justifies this whole thing. Then
at the end of his first call with CoffeeZilla is even saying like, "Oh, I hope you get better from your cancer thing, whatever." And his whole thing was like, "People don't get better from cancer; people die." And it's like, no,
people get better all the time.
There's plenty of people that are able to beat cancer. This doesn't mean that everybody is able to do it, but like for instance, someone I had recently on a podcast is currently still in remission for his cancer. It's Gene Park. Nice. Gene Park's been battling cancer for quite a few years now, and he was able to get into remission, and right now he's still doing good. So it's like some people are able to beat it, but Boogie's like, oh, you don't understand. I'm going to die from this. And this is especially bad after like 2 years ago, he tweeted about this form of cancer that he has, and air quotes, but like, he tweeted about it saying like, oh, if you get cancer, this is the one to get because it's not that bad. You can live for like God knows how many years. Everything's fine. Everything's manageable. It's not a big deal at all. And now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, people don't get better from cancer. People die. It's like, you're full of shit, dude. You're just full of shit.
This is why I said Boogie's intellect worries me. Because his gaslighting is either this fucker, right, is playing 12D chess when the rest of us are stuck on checkers, or he's fucking stupid, bro. Because, like, dude, he says things. So in Afrikaans, we have this saying. It said, "Jy praat soos eie wat saad skiet." And it basically means you're speaking like onions shooting seed. Now, if you've ever watched an onion getting rid of its seed, it's fucking insane, bro. It goes everywhere, right? And that's literally what Boogie does. He just says shit, right? He just goes off and then says stuff. And then tomorrow he doesn't remember what he said yesterday. So then he just says new shit today. And if it conflicts, it's like, who gives a fuck, right? So he's gaslighting is either he's taking the direction of just keep saying stuff to the point where everyone is so confused that they just give up and believe
they don't
right?
know what's going on.
Yeah, or, and this is what's happening now, no one believes anything you say anymore. And this is where things really start to. So things really got to a head on the Lolcar podcast when Destiny chimed in. And Destiny, being the Wikipedia searcher that he is.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It was actually Turkey Tom that put Destiny up to this.
All right.
Turkey Tom went on Destiny's stream telling him all about like the shit coin and whatnot that Boogie had done. Because this is all because of him launching that stupid coin for like to get, I think he's supposed to get $10,000 or whatever, but it was like a front payment of $5,000. So he launched that shit coin for the $5,000. And you know, the whole internet fucking hates when people do that because there's so many crypto scams and you know, people are just so fucking tired of it. It's disgusting. And basically Turkey Tom goes on to Destiny and kind of clues him in on what's going on with the shitcoin situation.
Mhm.
And Destiny starts fucking, doing the thing that he does with
Yep.
BGG and whatnot. We don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Destiny and BGG, but basically they're like the sleuths of the internet. They'll go and they'll find out clips that you'll be like, where'd you get that goddamn clip, bro? What the hell is going on? Like, his community is insane. So he's pulling up all of these clips and whatnot. And very quickly, Destiny just goes like, he doesn't have cancer. He's full of shit. He does not have cancer. 100% does not have it. He is lying through his fucking teeth.
Yeah. But this is exactly what happens now, right? So Destiny confronts Boogie, and Destiny makes a very good point here. Boogie claims that he needs the $10,000 for biopsy in order to confirm that he has cancer. He screams, confirmation, 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 Destiny. And then Destiny asks a very valid question. You've been treated, you've received treatment for this cancer for the last 2 fucking years. What the fuck are they confirming now? That's not how cancer works, FYI. For anyone watching at home, cancer treatment is oftentimes worse than the fucking disease. It is incredibly dangerous. So unless they're absolute, and also not all cancers can be treated the same. You need different treatments, different dosages, depending on where the cancer is, what the cancer is doing. It's a massive thing. They're not just going to start pumping you full of chemo drugs for whatever might be wrong, right? That's not how it works.
Let's just do a general chemotherapy just in case.
And some radiation, just while we're at it.
You're going to go bald just in case. You're going to feel like shit just in case. Puke your guts out every morning and piss blood just in case.
You know what? Let's just put this motherfucker right next to the elephant's foot in Chernobyl. Let the cancer sort itself out. Because this is just absolute bullshit, right? But Boogie, this is why I say he must be playing 12D chess or something's wrong, because he just doubles down on it. And then eventually, after thoroughly being caught out on his bullshit, he goes, you know what? Screw you motherfuckers. Because then Keemstar comes on and Keemstar says, I will give you $10,000 if you can.
See that first, Destiny himself put up money. Destiny said, I will give you $5,000 right now. Show me the proof that you have the cancer. And then Boogie starts like, I will never show it to you. It's my privacy. It's my blah, blah. His privacy that he announced like 2 years ago on Twitter.
But that's
bullshit.
That's always the thing that gets me.
Yeah, Destiny puts up 5,000, and then I don't know. I think Keemstar goes up to 15,000.
No, he goes 10. No, but Mudar comes with 50,000.
50,000.
Yeah,
and the whole thing apparently, because I've been listening to a lot of commentary around this, and apparently the whole thing went up to $80,000. $80,000. And Boogie's like, you will never see my records. Bullshit.
Dude, but
you're full of shit. That's life-changing money. You are full of shit.
The thing is, right, this is how you know that Boogie is scamming. For anyone that's still on the fence.
100%.
Boogie, the whole crypto scam comes as a result of Boogie falling from his previous grace. Boogie was a very large content creator. I don't just mean fat, I mean large content creator, right?
And it's funny because you and I can actually get to say that.
I'm allowed to fucking say it, right?
Because we're fat, we get to talk about it.
Right? But Boogie was a very large content creator. He made a ton of money. I still don't believe any of his fucking claims in his documentary about him not making as much money and only 17,000. I mean, bullshit, bro.
He's already admitted that the numbers in the documentary are fudged. This has been admitted.
Yeah, but the thing is, he keeps doubling back on it. So you say he admitted it. Just last month, he went, no, those numbers are actually too high for what he actually made. So this motherfucker doesn't remember his stories the day after the next, you know?
The thing is, these lies will work on an average audience of people that don't actually know how YouTube operates.
Yeah.
But they never work on other content creators because we operate on the platform. We see the numbers that you're pulling and we're like, nope, you're lying. Sorry, bro. That's a lie. Yep.
I'll tell you guys this much. If you make, and Boogie at one point did do this, pretty much daily videos that get 100,000 plus views per video.
Bro, you can live like
you
a fucking
are
king.
making fucking bank. In fact, you're probably pulling well over 20K a month just on that alone, not even including your
conservative estimate. This is without including sponsors, which he had often.
Yeah.
I remember him having tons of sponsors.
Yeah, and for 100,000 view video, sponsors are probably going to be willing to drop anywhere from 10 to 15K on that video just to be included in it. So there's no shot that he just made $17,000 a month. No fucking shot, bro. The average sort of back then on YouTube was about $10 per 1,000 views that you would make as a gaming creator. Now, you wouldn't get quite that out, but remember, you also get more the more subscribers you have. At 1 million subscribers, you're getting the cream of the fucking crop. So he probably did get paid about $10 per 1,000 viewers. At 100,000 viewers, that's $1,000, right? Per video. Just there. Make 5 videos a week. That's what, $5,000, right? So
but
clearly,
that's the thing.
Boogie was full of shit.
For a while, he was not even just doing videos. He was doing videos and streaming on Twitch, which is another, revenue stream where he's getting like
great way of making
and
money.
all of this stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Twitch is a phenomenal way of making money.
You're much more familiar with that one, bro. I got a shout out. Like, listen, just like randomly, since we brought up Twitch, you know that I've been away from Twitch for a while because I mostly stream on YouTube. But with Dawn Trail releasing, I went to Twitch. I've been doing that on Twitch because I can't do that on YouTube because the channel will absolutely get demolished on the algorithm. So I was like, okay, I know that a lot of you guys want to watch me play Dawn Trail, so I'll just do that on Twitch. So I'm on Twitch, and yesterday I boot up like my 3rd Dawn Trail stream. Yeah. You have your little waiting screen at the beginning of the stream, and I was like just running around, going to the bathroom, whatnot. And I come back to the stream, and completely out of the blue, the username Silly Pickle just donated $300.
Wow, that's good money.
He was like, "Hey, I got back into Elden Ring because of you. Thanks." I was like,
"Easy." Yeah,
I was like, "Bro, thank you. I'm super appreciative." But this is just like to show how this is me with an average of 50 viewers or something like that on Twitch.
Yeah.
Just randomly, you get a $300 donation, for which I'm brutally thankful.
Yeah,
but it's like this just to give people an idea. If you scale that up for a much bigger creator with many more people watching, people are going to donate. People are going to give you money. Dude, it's just what usually ends up happening, especially when you have a persona like Boogie of being like people always say, he used to be the Mr. Rogers of YouTube or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, he probably had tons of donations like that. 100%.
I mean, here's the thing, right? The average on YouTube, I don't want to get too bogged down on this, but the average on Twitch is every viewer you'll have 3 times as many subs. So if you have 50 viewers, you're going to have 100 to 150 subs. That's the average, right?
Not for me.
Yeah, but you never fucking stream on Twitch. So, of course, that's just going to be the case.
You're right.
But I have that, right? I have between 40 and 50 viewers on Twitch. And I have about, I think, 143 subs. That's excluding
shout out to the DJ Nation.
Gifts. Oh yeah, absolutely. The DJ Nation is amazing. Even though they fucking hate me the whole time when I stream, but never mind that.
I mean, I hate you too, but that's fine.
Oh, well,
it's part of your charm.
The feeling's mutual. But no,
anyway,
so
getting back to it, sorry.
So Boogie made more than enough money. And
100%.
The problem is he lost everything as a result of his own stupidity. And the problem is Boogie
No. Listen.
Yeah?
You the stacks of money that he had, it's not like it's a set of car keys. He didn't lose it. He spent it.
Yeah. But remember,
he spent it on bullshit.
Yeah.
No, it's just there's this idea that losing means like, oh man, I was so unlucky
I get what you mean.
I lost all this money. It's like, no, you spent this money on hookers and blow.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
Yep.
Okay. Which, based and all of that, but it is what it is.
But you see, the problem is for Boogie, he got addicted to that lifestyle. He got addicted to the lifestyle of being able to buy and afford whatever he wants. And now he's desperate. So the crypto scam comes from that desperation. And this is the problem with people once they're addicted to something like money and that desperation sets in. They don't think, and addicts do this all the time, they don't think long term, right? They don't think, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
I can't just make $1,000 a year because it will fuck me for eternity. I will never make $1,000 again. They just think about the 1,000 that they can make right now.
But the interesting thing is that this is something that has happened to a lot of creators, which is they get a little bit of success. And it's interesting because you criticize the publishers of video games for the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Which is like, they'll have a little bit of success and they'll just assume, oh, this is the new standard. It only goes up from here. Except it doesn't. It doesn't just keep going up. And naturally, we've had apocalypses and all of that stuff. But, you know, Boogie was like, bro, I have so much money right now. I can do whatever the fuck I want for the rest of my life. This is going to be great. Hookers and blow every goddamn day. It's going to be fantastic. Living it up. And then suddenly it's like, oh, apocalypse. Oh, I'm fucked. See, I've always looked at YouTube and everything that I do online as like, look, this can all end tomorrow. Tomorrow, this can end. Like, I can get banned off of YouTube for no reason, as I've seen happen to plenty of people. They just get banned for absolutely no fucking reason. There are music channels that this is the most hilarious thing. I've seen music channels that make original music and a fucking copyright troll will steal their music, use the YouTube's own system to claim the music as his own, and then copyright strike the original dude. And I've seen people lose channels over this. And it's like, this is insane.
Yeah.
So it's like, you look at how unstable everything is online. And the only way to do this is to be like, this can all end tomorrow. And that's how I've always done things. So, you know, I never go out and it's like, oh, I had a good month. Time to spend this money. It's like, no, I had a good month. Time to put this in the fucking bank and make sure that my family's fucking taken care of if this whole thing goes sky high.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. And the thing is also that I think a lot of YouTubers don't, and this is not really about the Boogie thing. This is just sort of general advice for YouTubers. There are peaks and troughs on YouTube, right? And sometimes your channel can enter a fucking year and a half, 2-year drought where you get no growth, nothing happens, and you have to fucking make it work, right? If you don't have money saved up during those droughts, you're screwed, right? And well, either you have to leave and you have to go find a normal job and keep going, and hopefully the channel fixes itself and gets out of that drought, or you have to have the money saved up in order to survive that drought and hopefully it explodes afterwards, right? Or it just ends, which is the average career on YouTube is about 7 years, never more than that. Actually, it's 2 years.
I'm winning by like 10 years then. Holy shit.
The average career on YouTube is about 2 years. So
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. Most people get famous in their first year and then lose everything by 2 years' time. It's all gone again. So you have to be very careful.
For long term, dude.
Yeah. Taking the slow route is almost always the better one. But anyways, just to finish up the Boogie 2988 discussion, he got addicted to the money. He got addicted to the lifestyle. And he's just bonkers, right? He can't help himself. So for anyone that's thinking, maybe he does have cancer, but maybe he really doesn't want to share it. This dude is addicted to money. $80,000, he would literally show it for everyone.
Listen, he would have sucked a dick for 500 bones, bro. Get the fuck out of here. That guy would have sucked a dick for $500. 100%.
True. Now, I don't want to sit here and judge Boogie as a person. I don't know him as a person. I can judge the actions.
The thing is, lying about cancer is extremely fucked up because you see how devastating cancer is. Like, cancer took somebody away from the gaming community. This is someone that I always think of as a huge inspiration for me personally, which is Total Biscuit. Total Biscuit actually fought and died from cancer. And it's like, it's so insulting to just have somebody out here farming empathy. Oh, I have cancer. And then he doesn't have it. It's like, bro, get the fuck out of here. I don't even want, I can't even take that person seriously forever. Doesn't matter what you do for the rest of your life. I can never take you seriously again. It's that simple.
Yeah, I don't really have, like, that's not really an issue for me. The fact that he used cancer. I know a lot of people were very angry on my video about this as well, saying they lost this and this to cancer and so on and so forth. That's not even an issue for me. I lost my mom to cancer, right? So for me, I'm intimately familiar. Now, fuck, bro, it was like fucking years ago. I don't even think about that anymore. But that's the thing. I've never used her death as a way to get ahead. I didn't even mention in the video, right, that my mom died of cancer. Because to me, it's not important. I don't give a shit. But I genuinely don't like people that use anything in their lives for sympathy. Deal with your shit, right? And if you do it, I already hate it. If you actually had cancer, don't use that shit for sympathy. It's a fucking disease that you have to struggle with, but you don't have the right to make people feel sorry for you as a result of the thing that you're going through, right? Now, Total Biscuit didn't do that. Anyone that followed Total Biscuit at the time,
he didn't.
He actually used his cancer to give people fucking hope, right? He was fighting that fight like a fucking soldier, right? Always head up high, working his ass off throughout the whole thing. But to use it for sympathy, I have very, very little time for that. Now, if you fake that pisses me off even more, right? Because you can't do that to people. Humans are inherently have inherent empathy, and you do that, it preys on a natural weakness of humans, and it makes them do things that they otherwise wouldn't be doing. So I have very little time for bullshit of that nature. But yeah, that's the story about Boogie 2988. I don't think we'll have a follow-up on this ever. I do think that Boogie is pretty much just going to be a meme from this moment forward. I know Keemstar said he's staying
for a while. But
but Keemstar basically said he's keeping him on the LOLcow podcast.
I mean, of course, because he gets to keep milking him and makes perfect sense for the LOLcow podcast.
Yeah, and of course, Boogie doesn't seem to realize that he is just, at this point, the butt of the joke. And he plays into that so perfectly because he's a fucking moron. So, or he's a genius and the rest of us are stupid. We don't know yet.
Yeah, sure. Of course, yes.
We don't know yet, bro.
The secret 500 IQ moves of Boogie 2988.
Exactly.
Yes.
But all right, from one retard to the next.
Oh, damn.
TheGamer.com had an article. Now, Rurikon, I don't know if you knew this, but it is time that you and I started trusting game reviewers. And not just any game reviewer.
Listen. As a game reviewer, I completely agree with this take. You should trust game reviewers 100%. Whatever we say goes. That's the way that it goes.
But he's not talking about you. You have to trust the media's game reviewers.
No, but
they're the ones that know, right?
Just even off of the headline, before we even dive any deeper into the article, you shouldn't trust anyone online.
Yeah,
that means me. That means Acalon. That means you shouldn't just blindly trust anyone. Trust is never to be given, it is to be earned.
Yeah.
That's the way that it goes. So, the way that I do things is I always tell people, listen, here's how I feel about this. And I don't sugarcoat it. It's like, if I like something, I fucking like it. I don't care if 1 million people don't like it. I do. And the other way around too. I don't care if 1 million people like this. If I don't like it, I don't like it. Sometimes I'm not saying this is something that happens often, but it's just the thing that you need to figure out when it comes to game reviewers, because I've always said there's no such thing as an unbiased review. This is an absolute insane thing that people seem to think that, like, oh man, if only I could have an unbiased reviewer. They don't exist. And anybody who tells you they're an unbiased reviewer is lying to you.
Dude,
every human is biased towards something.
Everything.
It's that simple.
Humans are biased towards everything. Yeah, we know this for a fact. That's why the peer review process exists. Because you have to find other people with biases to figure out if your biases fuck your research. That's just how it works.
This is one of the reasons why I will often consume content on YouTube that I disagree with. I will purposefully look for things that go against the things that I believe in to make sure, okay, do the things that I believe in hold up under scrutiny, or do they not?
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I'm always looking for opinions that I disagree with to make sure that, like, hey, is my position correct, or am I wrong, or whatever. But fundamentally, there's no such thing as an unbiased review. The important thing is you need to find people that align with your own general taste in games.
Yeah.
That's the way that I look at it. And so this is why I always tell people, listen, I'm biased towards the Souls games. I'm biased towards Monster Hunter games. I'm biased towards all of these things, so that you know what you're getting when you're getting a review from me or an opinion piece from me or something like that. So you don't just blindly trust what I say. You are aware of the things that I like, and you watch my review, and you can either agree or disagree with it. It's like, it's not a big deal. Doesn't matter. I don't take it personal if you don't agree with me. As a matter of fact, I enjoy the back and forth of people that disagree with me, because it's interesting, so long as people keep it respectful. Because when it starts getting like, no, your opinion is trash, it's like, that's okay, that's not interesting anymore, so you
get
can
away
fuck
from me.
off. But that's kind of like the whole point. You shouldn't blindly trust anyone. That's the way that I look at it.
You see, I don't even I did a video on the on Once Human, and at the beginning of the video I said this quite clearly. I said, this is not a review. I don't do game reviews. This is an opinion. This is my opinion on the game. Now, if you like similar games to me, you're probably going to find my opinion quite informative to you. But if you don't like my type of video games, then my opinion is going to be completely useless to you, because I'm judging the game based on what I like from a video game. I'll give you a great example of this. Palworld. I am on record as saying that Palworld is probably the greatest survival game that's ever been made. And the reason for it is, it gets rid of all the needless grind bullshit that is in most survival games. I know for a fact that there are members in my chat that did not agree with that take, because the very reason why I love Palworld is the very reason they don't. They like that grind. They like going out and chopping wood and fucking mining ore 500 hours a week just in order to build a fucking brick. It's like, all right, fine, but I don't like that shit, right? So that's why when I judge Palworld, I'm judging it from what I like, right? And same with Once Human, same with everything. So this whole thing of trusting video game reviewers, even if we are just talking about all video game reviewers, no. What are you talking about? You guys sat there and fucking told us that Stellar Blade was shit because you didn't like the female, and then you made up all other bullshit about the game that wasn't even true. The game was phenomenal. People loved it. And they liked the character.
I remember having to talk about that. That was such a fucking miserable discourse, with people just like going, oh, they're pushing all of this thing onto this character, and she's way too sexualized. We're not naked Aphrodite, though. That's the right way to look at things.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and not to mention penis physics in Baldur's Gate 3. That's the right thing.
That's perfect.
But Stellar Blade, no. It's like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Hypocrisy to the nth fucking degree. So,
but you do know why they're doing this, and I'm sort of merging multiple stories here.
Oh no, not again.
No, but it's all part of the same thing. It's the media, right? It's the gaming fucking media. Yeah. They're doing these articles because they're getting desperate. They're getting desperate for viewers, for people to look at their articles and actually read their shit. Because you now have it. Kotaku Australia closing down. Why? Amongst all of the bullshit, and trust me, I read every article there is on this thing. None of them say this.
I haven't looked too deeply into it, so I'm very curious.
Bro, be glad you didn't, right? Because all of the articles basically read like a high school student that needs a minimum of 5,000 fucking words, but then just starts making shit up, right? Like just random words thrown in order to get to that word count. But at the core of it is, it's not making money because not enough people are looking at the website anymore. Like, if you boil everything down, that's what it boils down to. They say, oh, there's not enough advertising money anymore. Yes, because advertisers don't pay for no fucking viewers. So, of course, you don't have... So, Kotaku Australia closing down. We know that almost every single one of the games media companies in the last 6 months have had massive layoffs and restructuring. All of them are struggling.
IGN did the whole thing where they picked up what was it, the Gamer Network or whatever the hell it was, and they picked up a bunch of different websites, including Eurogamer, which I was like, what the fuck? IGN, you imagine that game that we used to have. I don't know if you know, was it itchy.io? I don't think it was itch. I think it was something else, but it was that whole thing about the big blobs that would just like absorb the other blobs. Yeah. So it's like IGN was like, blop, just picked up the Eurogamer blob. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even know that could happen. That's insane.
Yeah, but they're getting these companies for next to nothing. And that's ultimately what it's going to end up. Because right now, pretty much all of the video game websites are controlled by like 2 or 3 companies. None of them are actually independent media. They are owned by corporations, basically like all of the news companies out there. And they're desperate for viewers because that viewership is dying. The difference between these guys and a YouTuber, for example, is the fact that you get to know a YouTuber, right? And you know whether or not you trust. So, for example, I know that I have viewers that will trust my opinion when it comes to city builders because they know I love city builders and they love the same city builders as I do, but they won't trust my opinion on survival games because we like different things when it comes to survival games. Yeah. And that's fine, right? That's how it should be. I have like 4 or 5 game reviewers that I watch for different games because some of them I love for certain genres, but I hate for other genres because every single time I try one of their recommended games in that genre, I end up fucking hating that game because it does all the things that I don't want it to do. So fundamentally, they are desperate to have people still afford them that luster what it used to be a journalist. You know, you used to be cool. You used to be people used to look up to you. You're the journalist. You're the ones that tells us the truth. And based on their own actions, again, this is 2 stories in a row where we're talking about the death of something as a result of their own actions. Them consistently lying about video games, lying about gamers, lying about the industry, getting in bed with all of the AAA companies out there. That's why, and I'll never forget this, the article about Battlefield 2045, I think it was. Is it 2045? Something like that. The newest Battlefield?
Well, I think it's 2042.
2042.
2043.
Yeah, something to that effect. Like but yeah, one of the newest Battlefield one. I'll never forget this article. I believe it was by IGN. That starts off, and it basically says, Battlefield is a pretty solid game, but it has its flaws. All right. First paragraph is the game is really fun to play. The gameplay. The next 90% of the paragraph is how shit the game is at just about everything. Right. All of the things that they said was pretty solid in the first paragraph. They sort of go, actually, never mind. It's not that good.
It's actually terrible.
Yeah. And then it ends with, but you should still play it because it's really good. And you just fucking know that this was their best attempt at being fair, right? And not lose the money from EA for Battlefield because EA and Activision and these companies pay thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to advertise on these websites. And that will disappear. Eventually, these companies will wake up and realize, okay, wait, these guys don't know what they're doing. But anyways, Rurkon, very quickly, what did the article say that we've missed in our, in my rant at least?
No, I don't think we've missed much because he mostly talks about that stuff, how you need to trust reviewers. The one thing that I remember is he brought up some stuff about Cyberpunk 2077 from a reviewer called Kelly Plague. Or Kelly Plague, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her name, because she had mentioned some things that she didn't really like in the game. But the interesting thing is the reasons why Kelly Plague didn't like that stuff in Cyberpunk, and I didn't play Cyberpunk, so I don't know, was she talks a lot about representation of minorities and all of this type of stuff, right? And she didn't like that aspect of the game. But she also mentioned the technical aspects of the game. And so this guy is making the false equivalency that, people eventually ended up agreeing with her. And it's like, no, people complained about Cyberpunk because of the technical stuff.
Yes.
They didn't really care that much about that whole minority representation and all of that.
No one gives a fuck
basically
about that.
the way that the audience stuff played out when it comes to that, I don't know, again, because I haven't played Cyberpunk, but the way that the audience ended up turning on that game is mostly because of the technical aspects.
It was only the
game
technical aspect.
Yeah, it was mostly that.
The game is incredibly inclusive.
I've heard from Angry Joe that there was also stuff with like the police system, that it didn't work proper, and there was a bunch of more things. I guess you can consider that a technical aspect as well.
Basically, the problem was the game was under-designed. It wasn't delivering what people were promised and what people thought about. People kind of expected to get a GTA experience set with major graphics in the future. And that's not what happened. Yes, the police system was really shit. Basically, the police would forget about you 2 seconds after you start running away. They would just go, oh, never mind, and then fuck off. Or sometimes,
oh man, he can run really far. Okay, never mind then.
He's
not really no criminals can run that far. Okay, he's innocent.
Yeah. So the game had its flaws, but it was still at its core a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. And no one really complained about the lack of minorities. But yes, this is always the problem with the media, right? They'll use that now and say, see, they agreed with her. And it's like, no, but you motherfucker, that's not all she said.
Exactly. That's the thing. So he's trying to do this false equivalence. Then he does another one where it's like, or for instance, how the Eurogamer review said that the DLC for Elden Ring is hard just for the sake of being hard. And now there's people, he said a majority of the gaming community actually agrees with this take. And I was like, no, they don't. That's a lie.
Yeah.
So it's like you're saying, trust me, and then lying.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, bro.
It's not the majority. In fact, I will say, just from anecdotal experience, and if I have enough anecdotal evidence, then it starts to become a theory in and of itself. I would say that the overwhelming majority of people loved the difficulty of the DLC because they're fucking Souls fans. And as I've been informed, all DLCs for Souls games are always a lot fucking harder than the base game.
Yes.
That's the whole point of it being a DLC. It's almost like with Cyberpunk, where the DLC was fucking harder than the base game because you have to be max level, or at least you already know the game. So obviously you know what to do in the DLC. That's the point of DLCs, just FYI. They're supposed to be a bit more challenging than what's the base. Otherwise, what's the point of the DLC?
But just to kind of like wrap this up with a nice bow tie, no, you should never blindly trust anyone on the internet, whether that's me, whether that's Akalon, whether that's literally anybody else. Like we've already said, trust is not given, trust is earned. You can only trust people that have earned your trust.
Yeah.
That's how this works.
100%.
And that's how this is always going to work on the internet. So I can vouch for Akalon because I trust him. I can vouch for other people that I work with because I trust them.
Same for me with Oricon.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way that it goes. You should never blindly trust anyone because you don't know, and you're just going to get scammed at some point if you just, like for instance, we just talked about Boogie earlier. Imagine that you donated for Boogie's medical bills.
Yeah.
How do you feel now? You want me to get you some clown makeup?
I would actually say, especially not media and content creators. Your trust should be at an all-time low for media, or not at an all-time low, but it should be, you should ask so many questions. How many times have we now seen content creators come out basically being so much worse than the public personas that they purported to be? How many times have we seen them come out being predators and being fucking just crazy people, right? You should basically approach any and all content creators as just someone that provides entertainment.
Random stranger.
Yeah.
It's a random stranger.
It's a random stranger. They entertain you. If they entertain you enough to where you feel like $1 or $2 donation makes sense, great. But don't start giving them money because you think they're a good person. Unless you know that for a fact. And there's ways to know that. For example, live streaming. Go watch a bunch of their live streams. You'll very quickly start realizing, wait, this person isn't what they purport to be.
Live streams is very good because it's very hard to maintain a facade throughout an entirety of a live stream.
It's almost impossible. You don't always think about the stuff that's happening, right? You say things before you even think about it. And if you are a giant racist or a fucking weirdo, or you have some weird shit, that's going to come out in the live stream, right? It's going to show up. So yeah, I would say be very, very wary of content creators, but then also the media, because they've proven themselves to be just bad people in general. I quickly want to cover a couple of quick topics because they're not really topics that's going to take too much time for us to discuss before we get into some of the more meatier topics again. Shift Up, it goes public. It's been a story. It's something that only, I think, dropped yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I saw Grums tweeting about Shift Up. Now, Shift Up, if I'm not mistaken, is Stellar Blade. They're the makers of Stellar
They're the guys behind Stellar Blade, and what's their other game? The other game that they have on mobile. You don't know what it is?
No.
Goddess of War Nike? You don't know about this game?
No, I have no idea.
So listen, this is a shooter game for mobile where the whole thing about it, it's like it's a gacha. And so the thing about the gacha is that these are female characters. And the whole thing is that they crouch down when they're shooting.
All right, yeah.
And so you get like a nice shot of their butt cheeks. And then when the machine gun goes, their butt cheeks. You didn't know about this?
I had no idea, bro.
That's their other game, brother. The butt cheeks, the side boob, the whole thing's like.
That is funny
Jiggle
as
physics,
fuck,
baby.
Bro.
Woo!
That is funny as fuck. Now, you might be saying to yourself, but Aklon, why is this a story? Why does this even matter? Well, because once you go public, you have a couple of interesting dilemmas that needs to be solved. Now, it's not necessarily that you're going to get drawn into it, but for companies to go public and actually make a killing being public, they need to adhere to something called ESG, right? Which is a score that is given to you by the World Economic Forum.
Do they?
Yeah. So ESG investment, and that's where a lot of the big money is, right? Comes from ESG, and a lot of investors have taken the pledge from the World Economic Forum. Now, just to be clear, none of this is legally binding, at least not yet, but a lot of the investors that do form part of the World Economic Forum, they will require you to have a minimum of a certain score in order to make money. Now, I do want to say, though, to anyone that's just immediately going, ESG, there's companies like Tesla, for example, that are scored super low ESG because Elon Musk keeps buying stuff and believes in free speech. So that becomes a super big problem for them. That's still making fucking bank being publicly traded, right? So clearly, you can still make a shit ton of money even if you don't adhere to the ESG scores. But this is just a fear that people have, because alongside ESG scores comes companies like SBI, comes these fucking these what are they called again? Consultants that have to help. Man. Yeah,
I've been staying away from a lot of this discussion because the biggest problem about the whole DI, SBI, ESG, the biggest problem about this is that what I find whenever I look into it, which I haven't done too much of, like I've watched a bunch of videos on it, which I don't consider to be proper, proper actual investigation to get down to the root of things.
Yeah.
But what bothers me about it is that I always see bad actors on both sides.
Yeah.
I see people that grossly exaggerate the amount of DI and ESG and whatever that is in video games. And I see the exact opposite, which is people that are going after the people reporting on this stuff. And it bothers me because, like, bro, I don't feel like wasting God knows how many hours actually going over articles and trying to figure out where's the truth. because that is the problem is that I already know that there's going to be certain inclinations on one side, certain inclinations on the other, and very few of these two sides are going to be interested in actually purporting the truth. It's just mostly talking about the worst possible thing.
No,
So it's like,
I mean,
there's a lot of people that, for instance, will be very quick to say, "Oh, the problem is the people that are coming in from Gamergate. They're the problem. They're going after us and harassing and doing all of these things."
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "But I was around during Gamergate. I remember what I saw." And it's not just about harassment. There was definitely media collusions. This was proven.
Yeah.
This was fucking proven, and this is never brought up.
Yep.
And it pisses me off. So, because again, I didn't do that much research on it, but what I have seen, I was like, okay, this is proven. This is a fact.
Mhm.
And then you also have the people on the other side that are going like, oh, you can't be racist against white people. Or the other guy that was like weaponizing his community to go report shit on Steam for the Cabrutus Rambo thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one big giant clusterfuck where very few people are actually telling the truth, and the whole thing is just like, I'm gonna get the worst bad faith example of this thing and the worst bad faith example of that thing, and then they just go at it.
You see,
which is why I find it very hard to take a hard stance on this, because there are so few people acting in good faith.
Yeah. You see, the biggest problem is audience capture, and it's something that oftentimes isn't talked about enough for content creators specifically. I was watching this podcast. It's an interview really by Trigonometry, and they were talking to Lauren Southern, who's a previous sort of right-wing, hyper-conservative content creator. You know, she was arrested for stopping migrant boats just off the coast of Europe. So she was like hardcore into the whole right-wing stuff. Then she got married and she disappeared from the internet. She had a whole story. And then she came back and she had mellowed out a lot, right? So she became a lot more relaxed in her viewpoints. And in this thing, she actually says a big thing for both left-wing and right-wing commentators is there are a ton of left-wing and right-wing commentators who don't believe the things that they're saying. But they know that, especially for the right-wingers, if they lose their career on YouTube, they will never get hired by any company anywhere. There's no jobs for them, right? Because they're on the wrong side of things. So companies will not hire them. It's too dangerous. So they have to basically go, I don't believe this shit, but I have to say it because my community believes this shit. And if I go against this, I will lose my viewers, and then I'm screwed. And that happens, right? That happens all the time. I can look at the ESG stuff because I have actually done my research on it. I know everything there is to know about the ESG stuff, about the bridge stuff, about the consultancy firms, because I went through a massive arc of literally consuming the base notes or going to the websites and reading what these companies want to do. So I can talk about this. But can I talk about this unbiasedly? Fuck no. We just discussed. There's no such thing as an unbiased opinion about something. So I am going to be biased from my own perspective. And it's your job as the viewer to go, all right, I trust what Akalon is saying here because it seems to mesh with what I believe as well, right? But don't believe it. If you're not going to do your own research, just go, that's an interesting topic, that's an interesting theory, and leave it at that. Or go do your own research and make sure that what I'm saying to you is actually what is happening. Because I'm going to read everything from my own bias, right? That is just how it is.
But anyway, back to the whole thing. So they went public. They made like $320 million, I think.
Yeah.
Which is a considerable sum of money, but now they may be vulnerable to this, this whole investor culture and all this other stuff that is behind it. And will that affect their games? But that's not the only thing, right? Because now they're also vulnerable to potentially additional monetization because, now we have to please the shareholders and all of this stuff. And
that's a big danger.
That's a concern. But at the same time, they already have a gacha, which is brutally monetized. Yeah. So hopefully they can just make their money off of that. And the Stellar Blade thing can be a different thing, but
I think the thing that at this point gives me a little bit of hope is that it is an Asian studio. And I know that people will immediately go, why is that better? Well, it's better because you look at, for example, From Software, you look at Nintendo, you look at what those CEOs are paid. And you're looking at things like 2 million, 2.5 million, not 60 million, 70 million, $100 million that they're paid per month or per year in order to do bullshit. These guys are getting generally very good salaries, right? But they're not greedy as fuck in every single element of what they're doing. So I do think
it depends. When you get to Konami, things change a little bit.
Yeah, but obviously there's always going to be exceptions. But you look at in general at most of the Asian studios and you see that, yes, they do. But remember, there's also a cultural thing in Asia, Japan, Korea, those places. Gacha games is a lot more acceptable, right? People actually there, funnily enough, believe that why shouldn't I be allowed to buy myself power?
I think that's a Chinese thing, if I remember correctly, because I remember reading about that. It's like a Chinese thing. It's a status thing for them because, like, I make more money than you. You're a goddamn cockroach.
It's actually
go grind.
It's actually South Korean. The South Koreans, but really? I think the Chinese probably have the same thing.
The last time I read about this particular thing of why they were super accepting of microtransactions was because career advancement is a big thing. Like, because there's that whole thing about how the Chinese parent expects his son to always be a doctor, right? Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing. So that to me is like, it's all about career advancement. It's all about me being better than you and all of that. So the pay to win stuff really plays into that because like, yeah, I am better. I'm going to spend $1,000 in this game, you broke bitch.
So the first time
that's their thing.
The first time I heard about it was Japanese people. Then I read it about South Korean people as well. And it's most likely Chinese people as well. And the reason I think all three of these countries make sense for this is in all three of these countries, internet cafes is a very popular place to play video games because a lot of them have very small homes where a PC wouldn't really fit in that home. So it's sort of a cultural thing to go out to the internet cafe and play some video games. The problem there, of course, is you only have, say, an hour a day to play your video game. If you're then going to have to be expected to grind, right, because you were working all day, and in order to get ahead, it's not going to be as much fun. So they actually demand that I should be allowed to pay my way through this game in order to advance because I spend all of my time working rather than gaming. And it's acceptable, right? For them, culturally, it makes sense. For us in the West, we have a very different opinion. We're like, nah, bitch. Go work and then go fucking grind at home. We're all equal.
Exactly.
You slut.
Exactly. I've always seen video games as kind of like an equalizer, wherein anybody can like do whatever, right? So long as you put in enough effort. And the pay to win stuff really puts a major dent on that. So
yeah. But for us in the West, I think because we're a lot more individualistic, we don't think in terms of the group or the whole. We do go, listen here. Because for us in the West, I think we look at it more for China and for Asia. They look at it from the perspective of the person that is working all day and that can't actually grind as much. So they're from that perspective. We go from the opposite perspective. And we say, what about the people that can't fucking afford all of these gacha bullshit in the game? They should not be discriminated against because they don't have that much money. So we
and you know what publishers say to that?
Fuck that.
Fuck them. Fuck those people. Fuck them. Yep. They don't got any money anyways. Broke bitches. Fuck them.
But
that's how the publishers look at you, right? That's how Blizzard looks at you. They go like, you broke bitch. Get a job. That's literally how Blizzard looks at you nowadays. They're just like, yeah, brother, here you go.
Although
70 bones for your boost to be raid ready, motherfucker.
We'll see,
bitch.
We'll see if it continues. Like it might actually be.
Of course it will.
Well, we'll see.
That WoW token, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, but
come on,
the thing
Echo.
is, you look
I'm
at.
not going to blame you for playing it. I want to play it too, but bro, come
No, but
on.
I do want to say,
don't lie
though,
to yourself.
No. But I do want to say there does appear to be a new philosophy at Blizzard, and I have said this before, and I'll say it again.
Is it to milk you even harder?
No.
Our new philosophy is we want to make even more money.
From what I can tell, their new philosophy is just giving shit away, right? Like just adding shit to the game and being like, yeah, go enjoy the game, you know? There you go. Removing a lot of the elements that would be required, like pushing money. But I've said this before, I'll say it again. The reason I never had a problem with Final Fantasy's cash shop is because the game is good. Right, the game delivers at the core promise of what the game needs to be. If World of Warcraft does the same thing, I couldn't give two fucks what they want to sell in the cash shop. Sell whatever you want, as long as the core game is good. It's sad that that's where we are, you know, but I do think we've lost the fight. I think us purists, and I do consider myself to be a video game purist, I have never bought anything off of a cash shop, and I will never buy anything off of cash shops, but I do think we've lost that fight. It's never coming back. All we can do now is sort of Hulk.
I always have to admit my shame in public every time this conversation comes up with Blizzard. I have to admit, and I need to take a couple of lashes from chat.
What did you do?
I did it, Akalon. I did it. I had to do it. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't for me, but I did it.
What did you do?
I bought the Sparkle Pony back in the day, man. I did it. I hated myself while doing it, but my wife wanted it. She wanted a Sparkle Pony, and I bought her a Sparkle Pony. That stupid fucking shitty mount.
Just like Eve in the Garden of Eden.
No, the thing is, I gave her shit. I gave her shit because she was like, "Oh, it's so pretty," and you know how girls are, right? She's like, "Oh, but it's so pretty," and "Oh, look, it's so pretty." And I was like, "All right, I'll fucking buy you this." Oh god, I hated myself while I was doing because I fucking hate it so much. I never bought it for myself, mind you. I don't have it. You can check my account. I don't have the fucking thing, but I did buy it for her.
I have two cash up mounts on my account. Both were bought by my ex-girlfriend for my birthday. One for birthday, one for Christmas. So I've never actually swiped my card for anything, but I do have.
It was very but see that's the thing. It's like it's for my wife. She's still my wife today. Like imagine, when did this Sparkle Pony came out? This was like fucking
long ago, man. Like holy shit.
Yeah, like
years
you
ago.
know, she's still my wife. You know, it was an investment.
You keep telling yourself that, bro. You will be judged one day.
I'll keep lying to myself. I'm gonna be real though. Knowing what I know today, I probably wouldn't have done it. Even if she would have been like sad or shit, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
What I know today.
I mean, I could not have known, right? No one could have known at the time.
No, the thing was, at the time, I was like, this is fucking terrible. This is a really bad precedent. So I knew that it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
I never expected it to be this bad.
No, but I don't think anyone did, right? No one thought that the cash shop was going to be... For example, when the token was first announced in World of Warcraft, I was actually one of the people that said, you know what, as long as Blizzard is responsible with this thing, I actually think it's good. Also remember, this was still Mike Morheim's Blizzard, right? So they weren't that evil yet.
It's just funny to me. As long as Blizzard's responsible, it's like you give Blizzard a Lamborghini. Just be responsible with it, and they literally just crash it into the nearest tree. They just like boom. They're like, oh, oops.
But you see, this is the thing is, I think we're also sort of growing up with this. I think I feel sorry for new companies trying to be innovative, because we are all treating new companies with a lot more suspicion.
Oh, yeah.
Right? As soon as a company does anything like Shift Up, for example, going public, we're all immediately like,
what? What are you doing?
What's going on?
You sure about that? Yeah. What are you doing?
Sadly, now every single thing they do is going to go through that lens of,
Oh yeah, a lot more scrutinized.
yeah, but moving on swiftly to the next one here, and this one shouldn't take that long because there really is fuck all to say about this, and that's Palworld going global, right? And what I mean by going global, Palworld.
I read they made a deal with Sony.
Yeah, Palworld and Sony formed a new company called Palworld Entertainment, which is basically the Palworld IP, the lore, the story, everything is now encapsulated within this new company, Palworld Entertainment. This, effectively, to me, is sort of like a shot across the bow. It's looking Nintendo and whoever the fucking company is that makes Pokemon, even though no one really gives a shit because it's just Nintendo. But it's looking at them and going, bring it, bitch. Right? Because fundamentally, Palworld blew anything that Pokemon has ever had on offer right out of the water. It did it better, it did it bigger, and it exploded in popularity. I mean, with basically the same concept, right?
If you're talking specifically about gameplay, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. Like, don't get me wrong. I think that Palworld definitely gave people what they wanted, which is a more mature Pokemon, but the gameplay experience is fundamentally different, right? So
but if what I'm saying when I say blew them out of the water, people have been asking Pokemon for a game like Palworld for years now, and the 100%. Pokemon dudes have just basically been sitting there going, no. Because who the fuck's going to who's competition? There's no competition, right?
That's the thing that I do agree with. Pokemon has been resting on their laurels for so fucking long. And I gave them a shot in a game not that long ago, the Pokemon Sword and Shield. I played that thing all the way through, and I was like, bro, this just ain't it. Like, I'm sorry. It's like, you guys do whatever. The thing is, like you said, they have guaranteed a guaranteed audience, so they don't have to try. It's like, we don't need to try. Why do we need to put in work? You're gonna fucking eat this slop anyway. Just fucking eat your slop.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Ubisoft. Ubisoft does the same thing. It's like, here's your slop.
Yeah.
Eat your slop, bitch.
You know, I think it's good. We'll have to wait and see, because nothing's going to come off. It's sort of like the same thing with the Warcraft IP now being registered as its own department within Blizzard. Nothing is going to come off that right now, right? All this means effectively is now other studios can approach Palworld Entertainment and be like, hey, we would love to make X game in the Palworld universe. Are we allowed to get the IP?
I don't think their main thing is even going to be games to begin with.
No, it might be merch.
Yeah, I think it's mostly merch because it is Sony Music specifically that is partnering with them.
Yeah.
So I think initially their whole thing is probably going to be alternative media, not necessarily a new game. So it's going to be like merch, t-shirts, potentially like a movie or a music video or something like that. But that type of stuff to expand the IP into what do they call it? Transmedia. Yeah.
But I still from what I've read and what I understand, the IP itself is tied into Palworld Entertainment. So Sony Music and what's the company called that makes Palworld?
Pocket Pair.
Yeah, Pocket Pair. Pocket Pair and Sony basically now collectively own the IP of Palworld. And guaranteed this is going to lead to, hopefully, an explosion in video games, which I think is pretty good. You know, it's same with World of Warcraft. If we're talking about the WoW IP team, I'm super excited for the games that can come out of the World of Warcraft universe, especially now that especially now that Microsoft owns Blizzard. Microsoft also owns a fuck ton of other companies that make phenomenal games that could do phenomenal things inside Azeroth and inside the Warcraft universe. So there's some very interesting possibilities there. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Palworld is going at this now. The game is phenomenal. People are playing it. Lots of people are playing it. Lots of people are looking forward to every single patch that's coming out. So now is probably the best time to sort of it's not quite as big as the Hawk Tua girl, but she has real talent, unlike these developers that just made a good fucking game. But
you got to give it a Hawk Tua and
spit on that thing. You feel me? Bro, I get so triggered by the fucking, not the girl itself, that was cute and shit, but everyone losing their minds over it, and now she's got a manager and she's got a fucking podcast coming. It's like, what the fuck, man?
It's because anything that goes viral, people flock to nowadays. It doesn't matter how nonsensical it is, people flock to it. It's that simple. It doesn't matter. It could be one of the worst things ever. People will still flock to it so long as it goes viral. Yeah,
but it's just annoying to me. But all right, so that being said, we should probably talk about some bad stuff very quickly here. Oh, how do I break this so that Rurikon doesn't lose his hair? Because I know this is something you really care about deeply. You're deeply committed to this and invested in this. Rurikon, bad news. The Xbox Game Pass pricing increase is happening.
Oh,
you
no.
know that service that you don't subscribe to?
Oh, no.
It's getting more expensive so that you don't have to subscribe to it even more than what you're already not subscribed to it.
So the thing about the Xbox Game Pass for me is that I think it's always been tremendous value for the users.
Yeah.
But it's never something that I've been interested in because I'm not interested in consuming games the same way that I consume Netflix.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the way that I look at that. And it seems like Microsoft is actually running into a couple of problems because I've seen articles from developers, and basically a lot of them have said that it is not worth it to release a game on Xbox unless you have a Games Pass deal.
Yeah.
Because effectively what Microsoft has managed to do is they've trained a majority of their player base to just use Game Pass. Now, I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing, unless you're a developer trying to sell a video game without having a Game Pass deal. At that point, it is a bad thing because why would you release on Xbox if people are just not going to buy it and it's going to take development time from you? Because people need to understand, a lot of people think that, well, you just make the PC version, then you just hit the port to Xbox button and it's done. And it's not even just the development side of things. That's one thing. So you have to develop the game to also be on another platform. But then on top of it, you have to go through the certification process, which I believe the Xbox certification process is actually easier than PlayStation because that seems to be the consensus among developers. The wheels seem to turn a little bit slower when it comes to certification at PlayStation, which is one of the reasons why Palworld
it's still fucking
on
slow.
Xbox.
It's still slow though, just FYI.
Yeah, but it's still slow. But fundamentally, that's the thing. So it takes time to both go through developing the game specifically for that platform, and then go through the certification process. And then the game doesn't fucking sell because a majority of Xbox users are just going to go like, well, I'll just wait for it to come on Game Pass.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems that Microsoft has created for themselves, even though I say a problem in a lot of ways. For them, it's a good thing because they're like, oh, everybody's subscribing to our service, which is why now they're going like, and now you get to pay us more money for the same thing. Let's go.
The biggest issue here, actually, I'm taking a bit of a different approach to you here. So Xbox currently, Game Pass, have about 30 million subscribers. Right? So that's a decent chunk. The big problem, though, is, and this has now been confirmed, a few years ago, articles started to come out that the Epic Game Store is basically like a black hole for video games. Your game launches on the Epic Game Store, and you are fucked. Your game sells nothing. So basically, Epic Game Store exclusivity died as a result of this. Because yes, you get a big chunk of change at the start, 25, 30 million, but then you make no fucking money for like the first year until you're allowed to go on Steam. And by the time you go on Steam, you're old news.
Yeah.
So now you don't get all the sales that you would have gotten if you just launched day one on Steam in the first place. Xbox Game Pass has a similar problem, and that is that studios are starting to realize that they're not getting the sales that they used to get if they go on Xbox Game Pass, and they're actually starting to make less money. The problem being, the main one, is that Microsoft seems to judge them on a whole different metric, because I'm talking first-party studios now. So I'm not talking studios that just sold to the Game Pass. I'm talking studios that are owned by Microsoft. Some of these studios are at the risk of now being closed down by Microsoft because their game sales are tanking as a result of being launched on the Xbox Game Pass or on the Game Pass platform. And the problem with the Game Pass platform is, unless your game is a live service looter shooter kind of game that's going to keep people busy for a week, 2, 3, your game goes really big for like a couple of days or maybe like a week. Everyone plays it and then they stop because they've played the game. Why would they keep playing it? And Microsoft looks at that as a complete and utter failure. From their perspective, that is a failure. And since your game didn't sell millions...
And the best part about it is that they look at it as a failure, but they'll lie on social media and say, no, it was great. We loved it. It was fantastic. Yeah. By the way, you're all fired.
Yeah. I mean, so the thing is, in my opinion, the reason for this price hike is because Microsoft is still not actually making money off of the Game Pass. All of those studios, all of those games that have to be paid out, that have to be supported, the Game Pass is still not actually profitable. And for those of you that might be thinking, well, who cares? Phil Spencer basically made a deal with the CEO of Microsoft. He got the CEO of Microsoft to give him free reign to do whatever he wants on the promise that Xbox Game Pass, or that Game Pass is the future of gaming. All of their eggs are in this one fucking basket. This has to work. I personally think they went about it the complete bonkers wrong way. And here's why. I love the Game Pass. Unlike you, I am subscribed to it. I've been subscribed to it literally since the first day that it launched in South Africa. But why do I love it? I still buy most of my games on Steam. Even games that are on the Game Pass, I will buy on Steam.
It's basically a demo thing for you.
For me, it's games that I'm not convinced I will ever really play that I play on the Xbox Game Pass, right? If I had to buy that game on Steam, I wouldn't buy that game on Steam because why would I spend money? I don't know if I'm going to like that. But then I do play it and I go, this is really good. I might buy it, right? So that I can have it on the place where I play all of my games, which is Steam. I never play Xbox games on the Game Pass, or not Xbox games, but Game Pass games. If I know I'm going to play that game, I'll go buy it on Steam because that's where I want my video games to be. I think what Microsoft should have done is rather than pay Bethesda something like, what was it?
7 billion.
7 billion for Bethesda and 69 billion for Microsoft. Take that
for Activision Blizzard.
No, Activision Blizzard, sorry. Take that almost $80 billion. Go into the indie space and you do the following. If I was Phil Spencer, this is what I would have done. I would have contacted studios like 11-bit studios, right? Small indie developers. I would have gone to all of them and I've said, listen here, I want to buy all of you. Name your fucking price. Because even if you bought 1,000 indie developers, it's not going to be 80 billion. Not even fucking close. You might pay 5 billion for all these studios. But here's the rub. What I say to those studios is, I will never tell you what to do. I will never tell you how to do it. All I want from you is to keep doing what you're fucking doing, but for Game Pass. That way, you do a couple of things. Indie games come out a lot faster than AAA studios. They don't have 7-year fucking development cycles. They're a lot cheaper to make, and they have a lot more innovation behind them. So rather than getting 1 or 2 big major titles a year, you would get 150 fucking titles a year. Just flooding the Game Pass. You'd make bad.
You know the problem with that?
Yeah?
You're no longer an independent studio when you do that.
Yes, but you become a conglomerate of independent studios. And if I promise you that I will never interfere...
No, because you're not independent.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter at that point anymore. Because
it does.
No, because you're still holding the mindset that was an independent studio. Because remember, I'm not coming in and telling you what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. You keep your independence. An independent
studio.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
It does matter because eventually, look at how many studios Microsoft just closed.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Microsoft is closing those
studios. Could still be up.
No. But hold on. You can't judge what Microsoft is currently doing on what I would have wanted Microsoft to do, because Microsoft is doing it as a result of spending $80 billion fucking dollars acquiring AAA studios when they should have gone after smaller studios.
The way that Microsoft operates is that, let's say they would spend 10 billion instead of 80. Not even 10. Let's say they spend 5 billion picking up all of these small indie studios you're talking about, right? And they pick them all up. They still expect a certain amount of return. They still expect these people to churn their fucking eyeballs out.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to churn them into butter. It's not going to be pretty.
But here's why I don't necessarily think so. And again, I'm talking in a fictional universe here where I am in charge of Xbox, right? The idea for me here is I could probably buy 200 indie developers, right? Indie studios for a fraction of the fucking price. Because indie studios, by the way, tend to go for like $1 million, $1.5 million, maybe $2 million for the studio.
The thing, let me just tell you something.
Yeah?
Most indie studios don't want to get bought.
No, obviously not, right?
You think Larian would want to get bought?
No. But here's the thing. I wouldn't even go after Larian because Larian isn't the studio that I want to target, right?
You would have gone after Larian before Baldur's Gate 3.
No, not even then, because they're too slow. They make too big a games. Because I'm going off of why do I subscribe to Xbox Game Pass? I subscribe to Xbox Game Pass to play games that I wouldn't otherwise play or wouldn't otherwise be convinced to play, right? And that is mostly indie games. You don't know about half of the indie games out there because they don't have any marketing budget. And even when you see the game, you're not entirely convinced if it's going to be good because you don't know anything about the company. Well, if those games came out under a single subscription and you had, say, 200, 250 independent studios basically making money, and you don't even have to go through a buying order. You could have literally just signed a deal with all of those studios that said, listen here, you make games exclusively for the Game Pass, and we give you budget to make your fucking games. We just want the Game Pass to be a place where we celebrate the indie gaming space, the innovation that comes from the indie space.
That's the other thing. That's not the main appeal of Game Pass. The main appeal of Game Pass is day one AAA games.
Not to me, but again, I'm saying
not to you.
From my perspective,
I can assure you that when it comes to a majority of the Xbox platform, or maybe I'm wrong. Comment sections, let me know if you guys use the Xbox and use Game Pass.
I'd actually be interested to know.
The perception that I have is that for a majority of people, Game Pass is, okay, I get to try out a couple of games, all this stuff, but at the end of the day, I want to play Starfield day one. I want to play Call of Duty day one.
Yeah.
I want to do all of these things day one, which, by the way, is one of the things that they're taking away from the lowest version of the Game Pass with their now confusing price thing, which is, you get the Xbox Game Pass Core, the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on your Xbox Series X or the Xbox Series S. It's like, bro, you need to get someone that adheres to the principles of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, I would say though,
no, we can't.
I just want to say though, they are. Some people are making it way more complicated than it actually is. On PC, you have two options: Core and Ultimate. On Xbox, the console, you have two options. Basically, again, Core and Ultimate. Right? It's just the two options. The one includes first day, day one game sales, day one access, and the other one doesn't. I don't think the other one is going to do well, mainly because for a bit extra money, well, $10 more, you do get day one access, so why would you pay $10 less? But I also think that this is going to, the reason why I would have pushed it in a different direction is because I think then you could have kept subscriptions under $10 and you still would have made bank, and a lot of people would have signed up to it. Maybe even someone like you would have been convinced to sign up for it if it was just thousands of indie games on there that you never even knew if you were going to play. You just gave it a go. No, but this is the thing. If it was, say, for example, just $10 a month, right? And you get access to...
I would rather buy the indie games. But I've done it plenty of times in the past.
Hold up. This is exactly it, right? You'll do probably what I do. which is if I play a game that I'm not sure I want to play, I play it on Xbox for a little bit. I go, I kind of like this. I go on Steam and I buy it, right? Because all I need from that really is, and I know people will say, no, but on Steam you can refund after 2 hours. Go fuck yourself. Sometimes 2 hours is just not enough for me to, because there are games that I play and I'm like, I kind of like this, but I kind of don't. And I only really figure out a few hours into the game after fucking around for a bit if this is really the kind of game that I enjoy. At that point, I can't refund anymore. Where the Xbox Game Pass takes care of that for me. For example, Flintlock. I don't know if I want to buy Flintlock. So I'm going to play it on the Game Pass. Why? Because I don't want to give them money and then figure out I don't want to play it. So on the Game Pass, I can play it and I can figure out, is this actually worth the money? If it is worth the money, I'll go on Steam and I'll go buy it immediately. Because I want the game permanently in my Steam library. That's where I want to play it. That's where I want to finish it. So I think going after indie developers would have been a better move, in my opinion.
I'm just the one thing that I said is just, maybe if you were in charge of Xbox and Satya Nadella wasn't breathing down your fucking throat, maybe you would have been able to do something. But in the current iteration of Xbox, it would have made absolutely no difference. If they had bought all those indie studios, they'd be closing all those indie studios and all of that talent would be fucking gone.
Yeah. I was literally talking in an alternative universe where Microsoft from the beginning made a very different decision. Because I think Game Pass is going to die. I said in my video, I think within the next 3 years, Game Pass will be gone. I also believe that most of the subscription-based services like Netflix and Prime, they're going to be gone as well. The fact of the matter is, there are so many things that you have to be subscribed to now just to consume fucking media. It's ridiculous.
I don't think Prime's going to die because you get more for you also get Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I'm not saying Prime specifically. I'm saying services like that, right? So it could be Netflix, it could be Hulu, it could be a bunch of... But fundamentally, I think there's going to be a sub-apocalypse. And it's going to close down most of the subscription-based services. The reason for it is you already see it in the gaming space. Xbox is the only one that really makes any money. EA included in the Xbox Ultimate Game Pass because they don't make fuck all money on their own. Ubisoft included in the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate because they don't make any money on their own. The problem is
PlayStation Plus probably also makes some money.
PlayStation Plus, but someone actually said in my video, I don't know how the PlayStation Plus works, but someone in my video said actually PlayStation Plus did it correctly from the beginning.
They did.
Where you get 2 games, I think, per month or some shit like that.
It was different back in the day because I basically was for the longest time a PlayStation Plus subscriber, and if I wasn't a content creator, I probably would still be because you get so many games. But because the thing about Game Pass is, say you start playing, I don't know, one of the games that I remember leaving the service was Final Fantasy 15. You start playing Final Fantasy 15, and you're like, oh, this is great, and then next week, gone.
Oh.
Because the licensing thing ended. With the PlayStation thing, the way that it goes is like, no, you just add this to your library, and so long as you have your PlayStation Plus subscription, you have this forever. So it's like it was a very slow buildup. So like first month, here's 2 games. Second month, here's 2 more. Blah, blah. But it wasn't just 2 games; it was more because it'd be like, okay, here's 2 PlayStation 3 games plus 2 PlayStation Vita games, and then at a point it was like 2 PlayStation 4 games, 2 PlayStation 3 games, and 2 PlayStation Vita games. And now it's back to being more like, I think now it's like 2 PS5 and 2 PS4s or something like that. I don't know. I haven't subscribed to the service in a while. But that's kind of how it went.
I think it's more sustainable that way, to be fair. Yeah. I think it's a lot more sustainable.
Even though I should add, because I know people are going to correct me, but now there's all kinds of different tiers. Yeah, now they also have a Game Pass thing on their higher tier, which works exactly like Game Pass.
All right.
So it's like they still have the offering where you get a certain amount of games every month, but on top of it, there's still a huge library that cycles games in and out just like Game Pass.
So I one of the 2 will survive. I don't think both will. Because I do think people are reaching a point where they're sick and tired of subscribing. Dude, the amount of money you need now to be able to watch everything. You need to subscribe to Apple movies. You need to subscribe to fucking Hulu and Prime and Netflix and fucking every single one of the studios have their own subscription service now. In order to watch all the movies and series and stuff that come out, you need to pay about $150 to $200 just to watch all the television series that comes out, right? And the movies that come out.
They basically made cable with extra steps. Good job.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell are we doing? So I do think
worse than cable.
Yeah. I do think this is going to come to an end pretty quickly, because I do think people are just going to run out of money. People are going to have to start cutting back, and that's going to be one of the first places they cut back on. And then hopefully the world will be, as is always the thing with new technology, we go a bit overboard, and then, there's a apocalypse that happens, and then things get brought back into focus. So hopefully that is exactly what happens here. Anyways, quickly moving on. Did you hear about Embracer Group? Now, I'm not going to focus too much on this. I know you don't give a fuck about this studio specifically because you didn't play the games.
What studio?
Piranha Bytes.
What do you mean I didn't play the games? What the fuck do you know?
You fucking said you didn't before the fucking stream started.
I didn't play Gothic, but I played Alex.
All right, well, fine. You played Alex. Congratulations. But Gothic is the one that you should have played.
I know. I'm sorry.
I think you can still play it, by the way. Okay, so Gothic, for those of you that don't know, really was the OG RPG. That game was ridiculous, and it was just super good. It was fucking super difficult. They were really the first people to nail what a proper role-playing experience should feel like. This concept of, in the beginning, normal mobs basically kill you. Like, you have to be super perfect just to kill a normal mob. Technically, you could say that they were, at least in part, an inspiration for stuff like Elden Ring, because it's very much the similar concept here, where you have to level up, you have to gear up, you have to get better, and then once you get better, you actually finally start one-shotting mobs, right? That you used to almost kill you. But the game constantly has this difficulty scaling that happens throughout the game, where it keeps you on your toes when you go to new areas. It was incredibly complex, incredibly sort of ahead of its time, really. Now, Embracer Group, and I don't really even want to talk about Piranha Bytes here, but Embracer Group just announced that they're closing down Piranha Bytes. I want to talk about Embracer Group just very quickly. And all I want to say about this entire thing is fuck Embracer Group.
Yeah,
Dude,
fuck those guys.
This group came in. Now, just very quickly, these are not game developers. Embracer has never made a single game in their lives. These are a bunch of rich fucks that moved into the gaming industry, basically bought every studio that offered to be bought out. And
no, see, they're not even rich fucks. They had a deal with Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah, that's also true.
They were going to be rich fucks with that deal of Saudi Arabia, and then suddenly Saudi Arabia said, "Hey, you know what? Fuck you guys." And they were like, "Wait, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? Fuck!" Even Saudi Arabia told them to go fuck themselves.
Well,
so it's like they're like, "Hey, what do you mean? Now we're gonna have to kill all these people? What the fuck?"
But you see, that's
pretty much the way it went.
This Embracer Group bought, I remember it was sort of 2022, 2023, around about that time, where you would just every week.
Earlier, but yeah. Every week they would tell you about how they bought
this is where it, like, Embracer Group started a little earlier, maybe 2018, if I remember correctly.
Didn't they even buy Gearbox at one point?
They bought fucking everyone. Like, I don't even know, but Embracer Group bought just everyone. Doesn't matter if it was a company that made money, or if it was a studio that haven't.
Just gonna buy everyone.
Some of the studios they bought haven't released a new game in like over 5 years, and they just fucking bought them, right? And then closed them down, because that's the problem. Once the
makes sense.
Time eventually came that Embracer Group now had to start making money, because you can't just buy stuff, you have to actually make money. They started to realize that a whole bunch of these studios that they bought aren't actually, like, they don't do anything. Their games don't sell. Their games are fucking shit. It's like, and then Embracer Group closed most of the shit studios, but now they're in a crunch, right? They're losing money every single month. And now they're starting to go after the good studios, or at least the studios that used to be legacy good. that maybe still had something in them that could actually change the world. Embracer Group really is where companies go to die. It's just how it is now. And I think Embracer Group is going to go bankrupt, and they're probably going to pull a bunch of studios along for the ride.
Oh, yeah. But basically, for those that weren't familiar with Piranhabytes, they did a lot of what we call Eurojank games.
Yeah.
But Alex was interesting. I never really played it too much. I played a bit of it because I was just curious. They've also done Alex 2 somewhat recently, I feel like.
And then it Risen as well. I never played Risen.
Oh, I played a little bit of Risen as well, so I've actually played another game by them. See, I played quite a few games by these guys.
You played more than I did. I just played Gothic.
Yeah, there you go. You just played Gothic.
But it is sad. It's a sad time for gaming, but and I do always like to look on the bright side. Usually after a forest fire, the forest thrives. Right? Forest fires are necessary. As bad as they can be, they are necessary. It's necessary to make space for new life. And I do think that companies like Embracer going under is a good thing. And even though it does take a bunch of studios with it, out of the ashes, new studios will rise. And hopefully this will teach companies like Embracer to not fuck around with the gaming industry. If you don't know anything about video games, don't buy video game studios. It's as simple as that. Oh man, if we could get the suits out of the fucking video game industry, this would be
so good.
Yeah. All right, Rurkon, you said before the stream before the video started or the podcast started, I need to remind you of this. So I'm just going to say these words and then you're going to tell me what the hell these words actually mean. Zenless Zone 0 downloads. What am I talking about here? I'm saying words I have no idea.
Have you ever heard of a video game called Genshin Impact?
Yes. Begrudgingly, yes.
Why are you so sad, Aquilon?
Fuck that game, man. Like, holy shit. Isn't that a gacha mobile bullshit game?
Yes. Okay, and fine. That same company, which is called MiHoYo, they've also made another game called Honkai Star Rail.
Okay.
And now they've made another game called Zenless Zone 0. Dude, and let me tell you something.
What's with the names of these fucking, why is it all shit names? What's going on?
Listen, that doesn't matter. Listen, this is an action combat gacha game. Okay? It's a free-to-play game. Brutally monetized, obviously. It's a gacha. What do you expect?
Uh-huh.
But the thing to me is, whenever the current generation of gamers, whenever we go far enough into the future and they look back and they're like, oh man, you remember the good old days?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say, you guys got exactly what you fucking deserved. You absolute degenerates have downloaded this goddamn game 50 million times in the first week. In the first week. Okay? You can't give drugs away that fast. All right? I could be sitting in a corner. I couldn't give crack away that fast. All right? And it's like, first week, 50 million downloads. I'm just thinking to myself, bro, what is going on? What are we doing? You have good games that struggle, and then you have these gacha games that are going to,
yeah,
it's you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
it's frustrating as hell that these brutally monetized, heavily predatory games are just gonna like gangbusters. Because eventually, what happens is that companies start course correcting, and this is all you're gonna get. This is all you're gonna get,
dude. If companies
it's been getting worse and worse in terms of monetization.
But I mean, we just fucking spoke about this, right? The suits that make video games, or that's in the video game industry, they're not gamers. They don't give a fuck about the user experience. They care about the bottom line. And if they realize that free-to-play, heavily monetized games is the future, then that is the future, right? And that's then what will happen. And they'll keep pushing that shit. On that note, though, in that same vein, last two topics for today. First Descendant. Now, I have not played First Descendant. And I
Me
believe
neither.
you
I
haven't
refuse to
either.
play these games. No, but I've seen what the monetization for the game is like. I can tell you. So
Uh-huh.
here's what you can do. So this works kind of like Warframe. So you unlock the Warframes, except in this game they're called Descendants. So
Okay. Very original.
paid Descendants, you can buy the characters themselves for $3 to $6 on average,
Okay.
skipping potentially dozens of hours of grinding.
Of course.
Then you can buy common skins, which are basically recolors of existing skins. To be honest, this to me, I think it's perfectly fair. You want to sell red, go right ahead. You want to sell blue, don't care.
Yeah.
Premium skins that often sell hair and makeup separately. And universal skins have to be rebought for each character, because of course they do. Because we couldn't possibly have them be account bound. That would be unfair.
Wait, so you have to buy a skin for a character, but then that skin isn't available on any other characters?
Nope.
Wow.
Because fuck you, that's why. And then we have ultimate skins that can run up to $100 and require an even more insane level of grinding and RNG to assemble. Guess what is the most sold skin apparently for this game, according to what my chat was telling me? It is obviously the bunny skin.
Of course.
And the bunny skin costs like, I think $70 or whatever it was when I looked at that. That is the most sold thing. So it's like, you can buy Elden Ring or you can buy Baldur's Gate. You can actually buy some really good games.
Yeah.
Or you can buy a bunny skin for this free-to-play game. And what are people doing? They're all pressing. You have those memes with the button where it's like, okay, you can end world hunger or one more spin on the gacha. That's what people are doing. One more spin on the gacha.
Yeah.
More spins on the gacha. Let's go. Anyway, then there's also paints that you can buy that doesn't work on free skins and they're one-time use because, of course, just buying a color forever, that's not fun.
Ridiculous.
What's fun is buying red 50 different times.
Yep.
Limited Descendant slots, so you have to purchase more slots if you want to keep expanding your collection.
Of course.
So they're also going to limit your number of Descendants. A battle pass.
Of course.
That doesn't contain any character skins at all.
Okay.
And the game also does the same thing that Warframe does, and there's build timers on the things that you've already grinded for, and these timers can be hours or days. And of course, you can pay to skip this wait. It's for your convenience. And then naturally, there's the usual stuff where you can pay to earn more EXP, pay to earn more gold acquisition, more weapon mastery, and shard generation, whatever that is.
I was okay with everything you mentioned right up until about 10 seconds ago. Because I was like, dude, if someone wants to be stupid as fuck and buy red paint 50 times, go for it. But now you get into bold timers, right? Where if I'm...
And XP boosters and coin doublers, it's fantastic.
Yep. Now we're getting into the thing. And remember, I always fucking talk about this. We're talking about incentives in video game design. When I make a video game where we're going to have levels, the thing I'm thinking about is what is the appropriate amount of activities that is required for you to go from level 1 to level 2, from level 2 to level 10, 10 to level 50, and so on and so forth. I'm also thinking, what is the max number of levels that makes sense for the amount of content that we have in the game, and also the amount of power that I want you to achieve as a result of this? That is when we're talking about a pure incentive structure, right? I'm weighing how long it takes to level against the fun of actually leveling and trying to match that equally with one another. Now, the second we add another incentive on top of that, in other words, the ability to do that faster by paying, now suddenly I'm no longer looking at how much fun you'll be having leveling from level 1 to level 2. I'm thinking, what is the longest amount of time that I can make it take?
How long can I keep you on this hamster wheel?
Yeah. Before it becomes game breaking, so you quit because you just can't handle it anymore. But it's long enough that you feel like buying that XP boost just makes a little bit of sense. See, that's now... Which, by the
way, publishers employ psychologists to figure this shit out, by the way, in case people still aren't aware. This is something that was acknowledged in the industry.
Yeah.
I've spoken to plenty of people that have proof that this is the case. So it's like, yeah, they literally will hire a psychologist to understand,
Dude, there's
like, how far can we push this to the point where it's damn near psyche breaking without actually making them quit the game.
This
and
is why
pretty much what they do.
This is why every single game that has a store will usually give you something for free off the store.
Oh yeah.
Or the most, not free, but they'll give you the coins to go spend on the store. So that
it's what do they call it? The cracking of the wallet or whatever, the icebreaker.
Yes, the icebreaker. It's that now that you've bought it on the store, you're more likely to buy it on the store. That is why I never open the store in these games ever to even buy the thing that's free. I just refuse. Because psychologically, that's how they get you. And I don't want them to think that it's even remotely successful. So I don't even do that. But was there anything extra that we need to know about?
Yeah. So before we move on, I'd like to give a shout out to Paul Tassi, because he's the one who wrote the article that I just got all of these monetization details from.
Okay.
He writes over at Forbes and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But another thing that I would like to point out in regards to this is that I've recently played a game, and I've actually given you a code for this game. I don't know if you played it yet.
Not yet.
Which was Wayfinder.
Yeah.
And the really cool thing about Wayfinder is that, Wayfinder started like this. Not exactly with all of this monetization shit, but basically similar to Warframe.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it started. And I played it, and the thing is, I love the art style of that game. I love the action. I think the game's really fun. Mm-hmm. So, this is by the guys who made the original Darksiders.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I just really am into the stuff that they do.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it was cool when I played it first, which was, it had the Warframe business model, always online, all of these things.
Yeah.
It was cool. But the thing was, it's like, okay, I have to play this one character because, you have to grind your balls off to play other characters. Mm-hmm. I have to play this one weapon because, again, you have to grind your balls off to get other weapons, stuff like that. And, you may be able to get like 2 or 3 weapons that you can kind of play around with.
Yep.
Maybe 2 characters that you can play around with, all that stuff. And basically, I played it when it was in that online phase. But then there was like this whole situation, which would be a whole podcast onto itself. But fundamentally, they had to shift away from the live service business model. And what they've done is they transformed the game into an action RPG, and they just scrapped all of the content that it was going to be microtransactions.
Oh, yeah?
And they just put it into the game as a loot pool type of thing. So you're constantly getting new cosmetics, you're getting like new weapons, new all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, I cannot tell you how much better the game feels to play.
Of course.
Because like I was into like, oh, I can check out all of these characters now. So I'm playing all types of different characters, figuring out which character I like the most. I'm playing tons of different weapons that I would have never even tried because the effort of just crafting them and leveling them up was going to be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And the game is 1,000,000 times better.
I can imagine.
Hilarious. It's hilarious to me that people love doing this whole grindy thing when this is not. It could be so much better if it wasn't with all of this bullshit grind on top of it.
It could be, but then you'd have to be okay with making a decent amount of money rather than
instead of all the money.
All the money, yeah. If you want to have a yacht, you can't be just making games for fun.
You can't do that.
Right? But this sort of leads me into the final topic for today. And I'll talk about this because I've been having a fucking blast. In fact, I've been playing this game until literally 10 minutes before the podcast started. And I'm going to play it right now as soon as I get back from the shop.
You've betrayed Elden Ring because of this game.
Well, I have not betrayed Elden Ring. I'm just taking a small I hate this from Elden Ring in order to play this.
You hate us? Why do you hate us?
I hate this.
Yeah, you hate us. Yeah, I heard it
the
first time.
I don't. But I will say Once Human.
I know.
Once Human is... Dude, I don't know how to describe this game to you other than to say that this is the gaming equivalent of Shadow and Bone, the television series, where...
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so the reason I use this analogy is I don't know if it's a good or a bad game. I just know I'm having fun.
Oh, okay.
Right? And that's sort of
how's the monetization on it? Or haven't you even looked into it?
No, I've looked into the shop. It's just cosmetics. It's pure raw cosmetics. It's also very interestingly, I'm now a good few hours into this game, probably almost 15, 16 hours into the game now. I have not once even been directed to the shop. In order to go to the shop, you hit escape, and it's on the side. There's 3 options. One is the battle pass that you can check where you are on the free battle pass or the paid for battle pass. Then there's one option for the shop and another option. I don't know what that I can't remember what that option is for, but that's it.
So you can't buy XP boosters, coin doublers, none of that bullshit?
Not that I've seen. If you go on there, it's all just skins and gun skins and housing skins, to make your houses look a different way if you want to do that. But
is the game free to play, or do you buy it?
No, it's fully free to play.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really fun. It has a really fun gameplay loop to it. The story is actually pretty decent, pretty good. The gameplay is, it's serviceable. It's not the greatest gameplay, I'll be honest. The gunplay is sometimes
huge endorsement from Echelon. The gameplay is,
yeah,
it's there.
But this is exactly what I mean when I say
it's like the hobo down the street. He's there.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. I don't know if this is a good game. I don't. I just know I'm having fun in it. But by every metric, it should probably not be a good game. In fact, on my video, my opinion on the game, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Because it can't be a 9 out of 10, because I've played 9 out of 10 games, and this isn't it. But it's also not a 5 out of 10, because it is better than average.
They have the 24-hour concurrence is 148,000. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for a game that it launched. What? Did it launch yesterday?
Day before, I think.
Yesterday would have...
day before, yeah. 11 o'clock my time on Wednesday evening was when it went live. But I was asleep already, so I only started playing yesterday. And I'm having tons of fun. I will say, one of the coolest features in the game, dungeons, matchmaking system. They have clans in the game, so you can form a clan, you can play with your friends, or you just go to a dungeon. It says recommended 2 players. You don't have to. You can do it solo. If you really want to try your hand at doing it solo, go solo. But you literally go from there, click one button, and it has this auto matchmaking system. Just hit that, get you into it, kill the boss, go out. Now, the reason I like that, and also there's difficulty sliders, so you do normal boss. There's 3 difficulties on these dungeons or stronghold bosses that they call them. The hardest ones are really, really fucking tough, and you need a lot of gear and upgrades and stuff for that. But fundamentally, what I have found is, for me, who cares about the story and just want to see the story progress, this is phenomenal, right? I don't have to fucking get stuck in trying to look for a group. You just find your group and go, and the boss was pretty fun. It had some tactics to it. It wasn't just tank and spank. It had some tactics, some things that you had to kill, some dodges that you had to achieve. The one thing that I will say that's bad about the game, for anyone that wants to check it out, the shared world sucks. You land in this area, and it is player houses as far as the fucking eye can see, man. Like, it's just player houses everywhere. And you're just like, what the fuck? I can't see nature. I can't see shit. I'm just seeing a bunch of half-built player houses everywhere. But the nice thing is, you can literally take your house, copy it, and go drop it somewhere else for free. It's on a 10-minute cooldown. So you take your house after you've built it, you run to a more secluded place out in the fucking forest somewhere, and you could drop your house there. Because everyone seems
server-based, right?
Yeah. Different servers for the game. But yeah, I've been having fun.
I think that's one of the biggest downsides of a lot of these games is that they still haven't figured out server structures. I'm assuming you can't just transfer your character to a different server. No. It's going to be stuck in there.
No. One of my viewers said you literally just run to a beacon. I think it is a teleport beacon, and you just teleport to a new server, and bam, you're on the next server.
Oh, You can do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of my viewers said
that
that
is much better then, because like I remember, for instance, New World, when that came out, I was like, bro, what is it with this fucking antiquated 2004 World of Warcraft server structure that your motherfuckers got going on here? Actually, it's worse because it supports less players. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, we really need, when you're launching games like this, they're going to be always online. There's going to be a server structure.
Yeah.
You can't be stuck on a server. Like, that is old way of thinking.
Yeah.
That doesn't work anymore. You need to be able to hop servers so that you can play with your friends.
Yeah, I will say,
I think that's essential.
They've done a lot of the quality of life stuff that you would expect. There's obviously a lot of looting, pretty much your box standard survival game. The building sucks monkey dick because apparently they still have not figured out that mouse and keyboard is superior. So they have to build it for console Andes that can't. Never mind.
Is the game even on console?
I don't know. I just know that they use the exact same building style that you get from console games, where everything snaps.
No.
Things snap onto it because obviously you don't have a mouse and a keyboard, so you can't do precision clicking. It's fucking sucks, bro. Yes,
you want to cry?
Dude, do you realize it took me?
Sorry.
Here's the thing: it took me 2.5 hours to put the fucking roof on my house because the snapping will not fucking work right. So 2.5 hours later, just to get the snapping on the house correct. It was
God,
bro.
The only thing snapping was you.
Yeah, quite fucking accurately, actually. But it is done. The game is really fun. The map isn't as great. It sort of doesn't draw the same kind of exploration. Although there is a lot to explore, there's a lot to look at. I'm only in the first area, 16 hours in. I haven't even left the tutorial area, so to speak. Where they sort of teach you everything about the game. So there's still much that I have to learn. But yes, I'm having a ton of fun in it. And I think if this is how free-to-play game... Now, obviously, we'll have to see as the game rolls on if they're going to become more scumbag. But for now, it doesn't seem to be. You should fire it up, and then you should add me as a friend in the game. And we make a clan. You'll love it.
I don't have enough time to play.
Trust me, bro. You'll stop playing that game. You'll stop playing that game.
100%.
It's like me with Monster Hunter. It's like, no,
yeah,
I don't have time for that shit.
Yeah, you play Monster Hunter first, because that one I can already tell you it is a good game. You're sitting over here. I don't know if it's a good game yet. I know Monster Hunter's a good game. You should play that one.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to say goodbye. Goodbye, farewell, all that shit. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Let us know in the comment section down below, what games are you playing right now, and also what games are you looking forward to right now. Rurikon, as always, thanks for joining me, bro. Ladies and gentlemen,
pleasure.
Be good to each other. Be kind to each other, and we will see all of you in the next one. Peace!